Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Asian Hustle Network podcast. We're very excited for today's episode. Today's episode is in partnership with Walmart for Amplifying U.S. Manufacturing Month, a three-part social first interview series produced by Asian Hustle Network and powered by Walmart. The series uplifts the voices of small business owners, Walmart leaders, and community advocates who are advancing U.S.-based manufacturing. I'm very excited to introduce our guest today, Judy Zhu. Judy has transformed Synear Foods USA into a high-growth, innovation-driven brand under her leadership. Over 3 years, she has delivered more than 40% revenue growth and record profitability while expanding the company's footprint in major U.S. retailers like Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, and Albertsons. Her rise from a grocery store employee to USC-trained MBA executive, along with her commitment to social impact and serving the community, underscores her role as a leader and beacon for women and underrepresented groups in CPG. Most recently, she was honored as one of Progressive Grocer's 2025 Top Women in Grocery Senior Level Executives. Judy, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today.
We're very excited to have you and excited to dive into your story. So we love to hear your story about Synear Foods. Tell us about why you decided to join Synear Foods.
I joined Synear about 10 years ago. It was 2015. And then at that time, I was working for another company, which is, um, I would say, the distributor for all kinds of senior foods that manufactured in China. So at that time, we were importing a lot of, the rice balls, the buns, and everything, and sell them to the 99 ranch markets and a lot of those Asian markets. So at that time, I was working for that company. And then there was this opportunity where Senior really wanted to expand globally. And then because of the trade barrier, where when you manufacture a meat contained product from China, and then you cannot really export to the rest of the world. So due to that kind of trade barrier, and then Senior really wanted to go outside, explore, and then they decided to come to the US, which is, one of the biggest markets in the world. So they came to my previous company, and then they really wanted to form a joint venture and then start their ventures here, journey here in the United States. So back then I was, 10 years younger, much more, a lot more energy and everything, but no experience whatsoever. So but then they needed someone who has some background and speaks both languages and understand both sides of the culture and who can actually get things done. And I grew up in China, so I was born and raised in China. So I remember the senior brand, I remember the logo and everything. But one thing that I remember truly was the senior dumplings. So I was like, I actually don't find any of the senior dumplings or soup dumplings here in the United States. So that might be interesting where I can see, what I can do to make that happen in here and bring that authentic flavors to more and more people in the United States. So then I joined the project. So that was 10 years ago. I joined the project as the project leader. And then from then on, the journey began. So I was employee number one for this facility, which locates at the Chatsworth, Los Angeles, which was previously owned by Nestle Hot Pocket. So we came in, and then there was no electricity, no gas, no water, no phone, nothing. So I had to put down my own social security number to get everything, all the accounts set up. So it was a very rewarding process to get, a old Nestle Hot Pocket facility and transformed into a frozen dumpling plant. So I learned a lot. That was almost 2.5 years of, renovation, construction, design, hiring, process. Yeah, but that was 10 years ago.
Amazing. I'm sure, you have been able to help Synear Foods grow so much over the last 10 years. And just to follow up on that, did you notice something missing in the US market that motivated you to get involved with Synear Foods?
Like I was mentioning, right, I was missing the flavor of home or, the flavor that I grew up with. So that was, the dumplings, the soup dumplings, and then a lot of those pork, protein forward products. I mean, there are other companies here that make that, especially when you go to Costco, you will see a lot of other our competitors' brands, selling similar products, but then they're not the same. So, sometimes when I walk down the aisles in Costco, I will think like, how come there's no one authentic Chinese product on the shelf? So that really motivated me to like make it happen. So I was like, not only do I need to bring the home flavor here, but then also if I can help a very well-known company in my hometown to have a success in here, that would be super exciting too. So
I love that. I love that you are pretty much sharing your flavors that you're very familiar with to the US and just sharing that joy, sharing that flavor. And, food connects us all. And,
mhm.
it's the language that we all speak. And I love that you were able to really grow that and share your culture with others. So
Yes,
you've
yes.
You've gone through the process of getting your products into Walmart. Congratulations.
Thank
Let's
you.
talk more about your experience at Walmart's open call.
Okay, so I participated in the open call for last year, 2024. How it started was it was actually referred or forwarded. The opportunity was forwarded by an industry friend, and she saw this link, to participate in the local Road to Open Call event where you go to this event and then you pitch your company, your product for a short 20 minutes. So they gave me the link and then I applied and then immediately I got an invite and then it was in downtown LA, City of Commerce. So it was just by myself and I had a flight to catch afterwards. So I was like kind of nervous, but then I didn't want to miss anything. So I got there an hour earlier than my appointment time. So I got there and then I saw there was nobody waiting and I was worried. I was like, oh, what if it's not the right location? So then I started to look into or peek into all those rooms. And that's where I saw the Walmart people. They were there eating lunch. So I opened the door and I was like, oh, my name is Judy and I'm with Synear and I wanted to present my company. And they're like, well, you're an hour earlier and we're having lunch break, so why don't you wait outside? So I waited outside in the lobby. But I guess, I showed them, how much I wanted this opportunity. So always be super prepared and be early, be on time. And then they finished lunch earlier. They came out and then they invited me back to the room. So that's where I did my presentation. I talk about the company, about myself, about all the things that we wanted to share. And then immediately they awarded me with this ticket. It's a fast pass. It's a road to open call fast pass. I was so confused. I was like, what is this fast pass? Like, do people regularly get a fast pass or, did I do well today? So they took pictures with me and we did some videos and then they told me like, hey, you don't have to go through the next round and then you can go immediately to the open call event. So I think that was May 2024 and the open call was September. So I had an entire 4 months to prepare my open call activities or any preparations. So then that day came. That it was my first time going into Walmart headquarters, Bentonville. So I think last year Walmart hasn't really moved into the new campus yet, but we were able to check out all the legendary spots in the town and then also the old office and everything. So for that day, we had back-to-back 3 meetings with buyers set up. Am I going into too much details or should I keep going?
No, this is perfect. Yeah, feel free to go into the details.
Yeah, so then me and my sales manager, and then we went there, and then we had 3 back-to-back meetings together. And then the first one was to present to Sam's Club, the frozen buyer. So that was 10 a.m. And to prepare for this meeting, you have to also bring your samples. So, we got into the kitchen maybe at 9, and then we did all the sample preparation, and then we brought all the samples, waited for the buyer to come. So the buyer came and then he was very calm. And that meeting actually went pretty well. We did our presentation. He asked questions, we answered questions. And then at the end, we were look at each other, and then I was like, "So, how do you like this presentation? And then, can I have the golden ticket? Because if you get a golden ticket, that means you got a deal." And then the buyer looked at his folders and everything, and then he said, "Well, to be honest, I don't have a ticket to give out whatsoever." But the good thing about the open call is it's not just about getting the ticket or anything. It's all about establish the relationship with the buyer, right? So you had this great chance to have a 20 minutes, 30 minutes one-on-one time with the buyer, and then you exchange contact info. So we didn't get a golden ticket right here, right there with Sam's Club, but then we walked out with all the information, all the contact information that we needed. Then to the next meeting, there was like a 1 hour break. So of course, the goal is to get a ticket. So both me and my colleague, we were a little bit disappointed because we thought we did so well, but then we didn't get a ticket. So we were a little bit disappointed, but then we were like, all right, now it's Walmart time. Let's go. So the second meeting was with Walmart US. Um, the meeting, started perfectly, but then the buyer started to look at his phone and started texting while I was talking. So I got a little bit nervous. I was like, am I that boring that the buyer cannot even continue to listen? But then he showed me that he was actually texting the person who's really responsible for this category to join this meeting. So he showed me, and then he's like, "Oh, please pause for a sec. We're gonna have someone else to join." So then that assistant buyer or assistant merchant came, and then we continued our pitch. And at the end, he was, all of them, they were very, very excited about the company, the products, and then they were saying they were looking for something authentic, Asian, and then this is a perfect match. So I was like, okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Do you have a ticket to give? So, so that's when he showed us, gave us the golden ticket. So we were super excited, and Walmart did such a fantastic job to really get you even more excited. So once you have a ticket, they will have the whole media team follow you, do interview, take photos, do videos. So we did the whole thing for like an hour long, but then we had another meeting for the Walmart Canada in the afternoon. So after all those excitements, we were like, so now what? We already have a golden ticket. Should we just walk into the room with a ticket and talk to the buyer? Just joking. But because, we know how it was already 2 rounds, so we kind of knew how to handle the conversation better and everything. So the last meeting also went very, very well. They saw that we already have a ticket, so they just, didn't bother. And but then we gave contact information for each other, and then he connected me with the Canada frozen buyer as well. So it was a super, super eventful day. But then that was the pitch day. So one day before, they had another event where everybody got together in the auditorium, and then there were a lot of events planned by the Walmart team, and then all the top leadership merchandising team, they all came out, and they will give us some high level directions, strategic initiatives, and let us know. And they also invited guests from Shark Tank to help us fine tune our pitches. So it was like a very, very eventful event, the open call. Although the day that went was, up and down for the pitch day, but we learned a lot. And we really love the energy for the call, because you will hear a lot of people cheering when they get a ticket. And then we got a ticket, so we were like, okay, now it's our time to shout and scream. So it was really fun.
Amazing. And congratulations again. And yes, I've been a part of Open Call as well. Just witnessing the environment and the vibrancy. And I agree, it is very vibrant. You can hear people kind of cheering as soon as they get a golden ticket.
Hmm.
But I think your story is it's definitely very eventful, and I love that although the first buyer didn't give you a golden ticket, it was disappointing, but you still remained positive and you were able to exchange contact information. And I think that's something very positive to take away from it, that, they still have your contact and you never know, they might reach out to you later on. But very exciting to hear the second buyer was, even though you thought they were disinterested and looking at their phone, but it turns out it was something positive in the end. So
Yes.
very
Yeah.
exciting. And to our listeners, do you have any advice or tips for other suppliers who are hoping to succeed at open call?
So, I mean, this is only from my limited experience and success background, but I think like know yourself, right? Know yourself, know your product, know your brand, and then know your competitors, right? And then know who you're competing against very, very well, and also know what can you do, what can you bring to Walmart or to Sam's Club, right? Are you gonna bring a different set of customers? Are you gonna increase the variety of the assortment on the shelves, or what kind of value can you really bring to Walmart is really I think the core of be successful for this event.
Perfect. And Judy, being a supplier requires more than just great products, right? It takes strong distribution system. Can you explain a little bit about why that is such a key factor for success?
So I think, yeah, it's not just about the product, but then it's also about, knowing the market, what the market needs, and then what the customers need, right? Because customers' preferences changes every day, and then now you have Gen Z, Alpha, Beta, all
Hmm.
kinds of different generations. So then you need to think, okay, what do they want? What is the best way to get their attention and everything? But then you also need to really have strong partners in the industry. So taking Walmart as an example, Walmart will be a very, very strong and important partner for Senior. So we need to also help Walmart to understand our product, because maybe some buyers or some merchants, they don't understand Asian cuisines that well. So we need to also educate them why this product is important. And and the merchant team, they're very, very busy because they're looking over so many different companies, so many items. So what can we do to make their life easier is also a great, level of service that all the suppliers need to provide, right? Instead of being very needy or don't know what to do and then just wait. I think all the suppliers need to be a little bit more proactive and think, okay, today, how can I make my, counterparty's life easier by, instead of writing me a paragraph of things, but also but just maybe respond with a yes or no, right? So how do we provide this level of customer service to the team, um, the buying team, and then how do we really understand the market demands? I think those are also pretty important aspect as a successful supplier.
Absolutely. And I wanted to piggyback off of your answer. With Synear expanding into the US, I imagine, and, obviously Americans have different taste preferences, right? Naturally. But then you also want to make sure that you stay within the tradition and the origin of Chinese food. And so I wanted to know, how do you and Synear Foods create and market products that resonate with US consumers?
Great question. Great question. Because that's something that we think every day. We think every day because there's this level of authenticity, right? Like those flavors at home that we don't want to tweak too much, but then it might be too strange or too foreign for the domestic customers, right? So like what is really the balance here that we need to find? Or do we really want to create something that's fusion, right? To close the gap to, as small little as possible. So it depends on the product that, we're making or anybody else is making. But I think like don't lose your identity is the foundation, right? Let's say we're a Chinese company and then we make Chinese food, like we make a wonton, Chinese wonton soup. But if I wanted to cater to my US consumers, I can't call them a ravioli or, a pasta, right? And then the shape and everything is going to be a Chinese authentic wonton. However, perhaps the US consumers, they prefer something saltier or they prefer something, sweet and sour, right? So like those kind of seasoning, we can try to have them more localized. But then again, we're not making a ravioli. We're making a Chinese wonton here. So never forget about our identity, but then also be able to adapt to the local taste profile. I think, every day we just need to find the right way to achieve that goal. And how do we make it easier to cook or think about what people have in their kitchen at home, right? Maybe they won't have a bamboo steamer, but maybe they have a pan. So instead of steam the soup dumpling, maybe they can pan fry the dumpling. But let me teach you how, right? So as long as we try to make people's life easier by introducing a flavor that is not too overwhelming, um, I think that's the key to make it really happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Instead of kind of changing the overall maybe food description or the name, but making it easier for people to cook, and that could be changing it to their preferred taste preferences, whether that be like the taste, saltier, sour, sweet,
Hmm.
but then also making it easier for them to cook. And I think that's really prevalent because I'm always craving dumplings, for example, but I can't imagine putting together dumplings myself and packaging it and putting the meat inside. That would take me forever, but
Hmm.
having dumplings, frozen dumplings at my disposal and making it in less than 10 minutes, I think that I would do that every single day.
Yep, yep.
And Judy, now that you are a Walmart supplier, how has that shaped your journey so far?
Um, I think we learned so much from Walmart. So the more we work with Walmart, Sam's Club, and the whole team, the more we learn, oh, this is how to work with the Fortune number one company. Um, I think there's a lot of systems that we need to get familiar with, and then we need to understand that everyone's very, very busy. So it's different than how we used to work with other distributors or buying team from other companies. But we have to be super ready whenever, if we want to send an email, we got to be very, very clear on what kind of message we want to convey to the other side and not wasting everybody's time, right? So I think it trains us to be super efficient, um, as well as be able to learn how to navigate and get attention from the merchants time. So, and then I think with Walmart as one of the client that we serve, now when we talk to other companies, we can proudly say, hey, we have this working knowledge, experience with this giant company with headquarter in Bentonville. Um, then I think we are ready, operationally, logistically, financially and everything ready to work with anybody else. So it's really a good training camp for small suppliers to really get used to and to understand how everything works in the United States, especially dealing with big box clients. So I think as long as we're open-minded, we're willing to learn, we're willing to solve the problems every day, and then have a very clear communication strategy, I think everybody can learn a lot from this journey.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And Judy, where can our listeners find out more about you and Synear Foods?
You guys can follow Synear Foods on our TikTok, Instagram. We also have a YouTube page, and then we also have a LinkedIn account. So we post a lot of our daily activities on there, and we're doing a lot of road shows nationwide. So just check it out. And then if you have any questions, just send us a message, a note.
Great. Thank you so much, Judy. We'll leave all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Again, this episode is in partnership with Walmart, and Judy, it was a pleasure learning more about you and your journey with Synear Foods.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.